During my time as videographer, I met many other videographers with many different camera setups. And often I have the feeling that people buy a lot more gear than what they actually need. I see that kind of setups and think, do they only put it on for the picture to show off all the equipment, or are they really using it? Because I made the experience that in the end, at least when filming live events like a wedding, it is the best to stay as light and simple as possible. Why would you need a shoulder rig? There are 3 reasons why you would use a shoulder rig. First of all, it is more comfortable to hold, because the whole thing rests on your shoulder and not just on your arms. Here are pictures of me with a Canon C300. For this kind of camera, a shoulder rig is definitely needed. However, DSLR or even mirrorless cameras aren't that heavy, so there is no need for that. In fact, it actually is heavier than holding just a camera. Second one is to add stability. If the camera doesn't have a stabilizer and the lens doesn't have a stabilizer, then to a certain extent it does make sense to use a shoulder rig. However, nowadays many cameras and lenses have an image stabilization. So for me, this would not be enough reason to use a shoulder rig. The third reason would be to be able to add other items like follow focus, monitor, light, matte box. Why would you need a follow focus? It can be easier to focus like this instead of the ring. However, I personally don't have a problem with just using the ring. And also, for example, my Sony a6500 or also my Canon 80D have touch focus and it works amazingly well. So most of the time I just go with the touch focus. You can also add a monitor. Why would you add a monitor? Mostly so that you have a bigger screen and you can see better whether you are in focus. This can certainly be very useful, but to me it doesn't outweigh the hassle and discomfort it brings with it. And it happens very rarely that I get out of focus shots because I couldn't see it well on my monitor. Lights can be very useful. I personally don't own such light, but used it once or twice. But then I would rather get a small cage and attach it there. For me, one of the main problems of a shoulder rig is that you don't have your hands on your camera. For example, if you want to change settings, you first have to somehow hold the rig differently and then press the button. But that takes so much time and is uncomfortable. Also, for simple things like zooming in and out, you have to get in there to zoom in and out. So also this doesn't make sense to me. And now imagine you have this whole thing set up and want to change lens. Usually I take it off, on, and I'm done. But on the rig I have to get it out of the huge thing, take the follow focus rubber off, and adjust the distance again for the follow focus. Even if you're not using a follow focus system, it is still a lot easier with just the camera in the hand. A better option is to use a cage. It is a lot smaller, but still, the same thing applies for all the attachments like follow focus, monitor, light, matte box. Sometimes they hinder us more to hold the camera properly and to be able to be fast and flexible.